AK Podcast. We're talking about Christian singles. Marriage has been declining. What does the Bible have to say about it? People want to be married. Everybody want to be married, but does everybody want to be marriage material? How are we supposed to go about finding this? Where are the best places to find these people that are so-called ready to be married? We're going to talk about it. Let's get into this. So, this topic is something that a lot of people are interested in. Everybody's always talking about, problems with relationships and problems with these toxic men and these entitled women. And it's like, for some reason, when I said entitled women, I feel like that stung a little more for some reason. You can't talk about the women. Don't ever do that. But this is just Ashley Keaton. We're here to help you get blessed, confess, finesse, enjoy the process in the name of Jesus. Can I get an amen, y'all?
Hello, amen.
Amen, amen. You can hear any of them sounds, you know what I'm saying, throughout whatever we're doing.
Yeah, we're looking.
It's the bottom left. The horns is, yeah. But yeah, y'all, so this is going to be a very interesting conversation. We got a lot of interesting, knowledgeable guests on the show. First of all, we got Ashley Keaton, and we have Caleb. Also, DJ Soap, always keeping it clean. You know what I mean? DJ cleaning in the atmosphere, and he's keeping these streets clean. And then we have Ryan Nana. Speaking tongues when she talks.
Okay.
Yeah, hey man, you want a couple of raras? Then you go to Ryan Nana. Prophetess. And we got Legally Bree.
Yes.
She is legal now. She changed her name to Bree yesterday. No, just playing. She's Legally Bree. Hey man, we having a lot of fun. Oh yeah, and we got Brother Ashley. You see the Ash button in there? We got Brother Ash. Keeping the room saturated with prayer. He got a Bible for us in case somebody try to go off script. And now when I say script, I mean the word of God. Amen. And if he got an extra camera for us, he gonna pass it to us. He keeping the room saturated with prayer. Amen. If y'all are ready to get into this conversation, help us out by hitting that like button. Really helps us out with the algorithm, getting the video to as many people as possible. And also subscribe if you're feeling it. That's the one right next to it.
How you know it worked?
Yeah. So yeah, y'all. And we're still good, right? On the audio and all that. Making sure you can hear us. Okay, cool. So, one thing I like about Growing Richer. What's going on, bruh? Glad to see you in the building. First of all, before I get into that, how's everybody doing today? How are you doing, Ryan?
Blessed and highly favored. Can't complain. Because my name is spelled with 2 N's and he's petty. He's petty. But I'm doing good today, y'all. Blessed and highly favored. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's good. I'm glad. Let me fix this a little bit. And Caleb, DJ, keeping the streets clean. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. So soap is actually a double entendre. So it's I'm the son of a preacher man. So it's what I say is DJ Soap is the son of a preacher man. My music is clean. My God is king, and I rep him when I'm on the scene.
Wow, I know that's right.
So
I felt the little old school feel when you just said that.
Right, I felt.
Yeah. I like when people they sneak in the rhymes when they talking. It's right on time when they walk out of it. Yeah, man. I got a little bit.
Hey, man. I know you got some music, man.
Legally Bree, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
It's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, we on top and steady rising, man. So, I'm just gonna get right into it. So, we know, like, if we look back in time, you couldn't hardly find a house without a wife and a husband, if kids were there. You know what I'm saying? Now, everywhere you look, it almost seems like it's hard to find a house with 2 parents if there's kids. Like, you got so many single moms, maybe there's some dads, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a time where we're kind of at an all-time low, like, rate of marriages, what is it? People people used to get married like even a lot earlier. Now it's like today, people are waiting till what people used to get married like,
20.
more so when they became legal, early 20s. Now most people getting married like late 20s, 30s, or not at all. And then some people don't want to get married. And I don't know if that's denial or it's just like, no, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But does everybody in this room like want to be married?
100%.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
And anybody in the chat that want to get married, please throw the ones up in the chat.
Throw the ring in there.
Or two if you don't want to get married.
Throw the ring up.
Put that ring emoji. If you're on
Right.
the desktop, just, put them R's in there. You know what I mean? I know it's hard to find the emojis on the desktop sometimes. But yeah. So, but yeah, that's really interesting to me. Back then, a lot of things were different. And I know for one, like, there was a lot of things in the past that people could say, like, were problematic and harmful that we got away from. A lot of, man-made tradition that we kind of broke away from. But so it's like, yeah, a lot of good things came with this change as we've progressed. But also, okay, I see you. She want to be married full time, hopefully to the same man. Or the flag. He wouldn't have.
He said he ready.
He said he ready. Okay. Put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should put it. Yeah. So. But yeah, so that's really interesting to me. What was I saying? That people. Oh yeah. So in the past, there were a lot of things that were bad that we broke away from, but then there were a lot of things that were good.
That we lost.
It's like that we lost. That monogamy, and it's so much now to where everybody wants to, like, a lot of the women want to blame the man, a lot of the men want to blame the women. It's a man versus woman type of battle, and it's like, the reason I can't get married is because these women are this way. And the woman's like, the reason I can't get married because these men are this way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
You gonna go first?
You look at me like...
No. I mean, look, personally for me, I feel like it's not a man versus woman type of thing. It's more so of a...
The women are wrong.
Well...
Not just
no, I'm just playing. No, but seriously, like, I'm gonna hold folks accountable when they're held accountable. There's some grimy women out here, some grimy men out here, but I don't think that's the bigger problem. I think everybody's looking at the minuscule issues that kind of compound and make people like, well, I was done dirty by the XYZ and now XYZ. That's not the issue. I think the issue is like we're becoming like world versus God type situation. Like we took God out of the relationship center at some point, and it's just grown into wherever what we see today, which is why a lot of women feel like they need to combat the idea of a man leading the relationship when that's always been what it was supposed to be. But because we've put new definitions on it, we've taken new spins on it. We've allowed people to create definitions for things that are already defined if you just read the Bible. But but everybody wants to be their own leader, and you can't be in the center of a relationship if it's a God destined relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so I think if we get back to the roots of that and then cultivate it as it's said to be cultivated, then we would be in a better space. It wouldn't be, oh, he did this or she did this. What did God say to do? And then both of us do that. Then you grow there. There's no way but to grow in a positive direction. So I think that's really the issue.
I got a question. So when you were saying like, so basically God should be the foundation in 100%. Relationships. So you have just as many divorces in the church, outside of the church. So I probably would say, seems like, well, I've seen more divorces in the church than I see more people staying together that don't go to church.
Right.
So like, how do you feel about that?
So I think that's difficult. God help me with the words. What I would say is that we see a lot more divorces in the church, and I think because people in like we know the walk with God is not going to be an easy one, right? And I think a lot of times when you're in the church and you're combating these issues, I think these men and these women are really going through these trials and tribulations. I think it's easier for people outside of the church to maintain this marriage thing because they don't really have the proper marriage foundation, and so they kind of making up things as they go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh well, he did this and he cheated on me. Well, we can just bend the rules. We'll just have an open relationship now and our marriage is good because I'll just let him cheat and it won't be cheating anymore. So my feelings aren't hurt. When in the reality is it's like, no. So let's try again. So the people in the church, they know the foundations of what God said. And now it's trying to find a way to have that marriage flourish when the world right now is up here and religion just keep going down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're at an all-time high with fighting right now. And I think it's just a matter of like people are really trying to reclaim like the God within me and stuff instead of, pointing our eyes to where it should be, And so I think that causes a lot of turmoil. I also think that watching people have successful marriages outside of the church and then getting frustrated that you're in the church doing what you're supposed to be doing and still going through these trials and tribulations. I think all of it collectively creates these breakdowns that I think make it exponentially harder for people in the church. And I know we'll probably get into it later, but there's also a lot of breakdown happening within the church. I mean, it's a lot of folks that go to church and then leave church, go and do crazy stuff. See you next Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody in the church ain't really, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference between going to church and being a disciple for real.
Yeah.
And so that we just talked about it the other week in church at Victory. So, there's so many rabbit holes that could go it down to, but like that's the short version of an answer to your question if that helped.
So we'll definitely get more into like real soon, like, churches and relationships.
Yeah.
When we go into like the best places to find relationships. So we'll get more into that. I wanted to know your thoughts on like, how the marriage rate has changed so much, like just,
So as you all were speaking, there was my mind was going multiple different ways.
Right.
So there's this overall kind of historical experience that's outside of specifically the church itself. When you look at the so you talk about how marriage rates have declined in the last whatever amount of time. You look at historically the world wars that happened that changed the experience for women in America. A lot of the men had got drafted, went off to war. Women then now started to that ignited the feminist movement beyond just where it was with women were getting the right to vote. Now they got the experience of earning money, and then you saw the sexual revolution. You saw all these things that continued to progress that, from just a purely structural perspective, changed how relationships existed in America. And now you have this experience that we have now. So you look back to the early 1900s, into the world wars, and then on into the 70s and all the things. And that's what we have this experience where women for 80 years, 90 years had been earning their own money, and because it started because they had to support the country back here. And then you had men that never really had to know what it was like to be like a true husband. They were just males that were in the house, and so they never had to learn how to like be a servant leader in those spaces. And so then that was a natural rub against each other. And so now we see a lot of in the contemporary society where men talk about this desire to be leaders in their homes, and it's more of I'm male, so I should be leader, not I have earned the respect of the honor of the position.
Yeah.
And so that's some of those structural things. And then earlier in the conversation about in the church, people I see this desire, this communication about finding people, being with people in the church. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that a lot of people are just simply inside a building that is a church.
Right.
They're not actually like taking what has been delivered, whether from the platform, engaging with other people that were part of the congregation or whatever, and now applying it to their life. They're just checking off a box of experience on once or twice a week. And so, because I find it very difficult, it'd be very difficult for somebody to attend church consistently with their spouse, consistently be engaging in prayer and fasting with their spouse, continuously be talking about the things of God with their spouse, continuously being in their own time spending time with Jesus. And then those type of couples are the ones that are getting divorced. It'd be very difficult to believe that they're doing all those things and they get divorced. if you were to try, like, I know couples that got divorced, and there's always some other thing that, like, they haven't been doing. If you're the couples that I've seen that are truly healthy, thriving, 30, 40, 50-year plus marriages are ones where you see them consistently together in church, or consistently together just in general. If you see them out in the world, they are engaging the scriptures together. They are engaging prayer time together. It's not like I follow Jesus by myself, and then you kind of come in together, and we just show up on Sunday together. Hey, we're good. Like, I don't see that those marriages tend to be the ones that fail. Like, I haven't heard of a marriage like that be the one that fails. It's always something that one of them or both of the parties did wrong, even if they've been together for years. Because I know couples that have been together for years, and then somebody like, eh. So there has to be a consistent thing on their part.
Mm. Yeah. So, because I honestly feel that when it comes to churches, stuff that people don't want to talk about,
get into it,
is that, and there are some churches that will. There's this movement where either you gotta obey that man, and he has, let's say, the woman was made for the man. The woman has to be silent, and there's a they won't call it like, oh, I'm a dictator. No, I'm not a dictator. But it's like, it's that kind of, it is a dictator. You know what I'm saying? But then also, you got people preaching to pander towards the women. So you got both of those things going on, and people think that, this is just something that, oh, well, if you're of the world, then you're going to have that man versus woman fight. I think a lot of that can happen in an unhealthy church.
100%.
And you wouldn't even notice. And sometimes it can be so weird that both of those things can go on in the same church to put men and women at odds with each other. And then we wonder, why are there so many women in church and the men are not? And it's like, that's not the only thing, but that's a part you can't take that away. Like, I have seen it where I go to church and it's constantly there's this lifting up, and women are encouraging each other, and there's kind of these men are, we got to step up, we got to stop being lazy. And it's like, that's true. But it's like, when am I going to be like, hey, brother, let's pray together. Like, we're going to stand up as men and encourage each other. Like, sometimes there can be some encouragement lacking because men are not supposed to be this emotional, they're not supposed to have. And I'm not over here doing the victim mentality for men. You know what I'm saying?
I would call it if you were, so trust me, you're not.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
you good.
Ryan and is co-signing. But, I'm like, I see it. Like, when I'm in church, I don't care. Like, you're not going to get me to, like, I wouldn't be over here saying, having this conversation, having Ryan here talking about there's a battle between men and women. I would be over here red pilling this conversation like, nah, bro, women just, they need to know they play. I will be over here doing that type of stuff. So I just see things and I just say, that's what I see. If somebody corrects me on it, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it feels
like?
That's
what I see.
We had a situation at Victory during Mental Awareness Month for men. And, they called all the men up to the front. Were you there? They called all the men up to the front, and they were like, all the men step forward. And, it made me teary-eyed because I'm thinking, why do they only get a month? You know what I'm saying? Like you only call them up. It's like the one black book you read in school during Black History Month. And every other month, we talking about all the rest of the, George Washington's and all that. And it's like, okay, but like, we have so many inventors that are black, but we don't hear about none of them. You have to go research that on your own time. We heard about, she didn't want to get up. We heard about her. But, but it's like, those are the types of things when you look at, as far as like what you're talking about, like that breakdown of just it not feel like an equal playing field. And y'all are already predestined to be, prepositioned to be, prideful a little bit. We can't be too, but I mean, with that, and then not getting, called on or equally, kind of talked to. Because I do feel like a lot of the messages kind of, cater towards just uplifting, but I definitely do feel like they speak to me a lot more when I hear a lot of guys leaving kind of like, like that was a good word, but like they just like there's kind of a disconnect. So I definitely feel like that happens in some churches. Obviously not every church, but I do think that's something that churches need to work on. I just think, I'm going to say that for later. It's okay.
Because I'll be honest, even when I preach, when it comes to the men, I can say what I want. Y'all suckers lazy.
I want to hear what she got to
Just
say.
imagine me saying, y'all women need to submit.
See,
ain't no way I can say it that way.
It sounds like, so when y'all are trying to figure out who to be and you're looking for this structure. So if you're not in church, people that are not Christians have this playbook to say how to have a successful marriage. When you're in church, you're trying to look in the Bible to create this playbook on this is how to have a successful marriage. And the thing is, you have to learn how to create your own playbook. You can't put women in a box and then men in a box and say what women are supposed to be and what men are supposed to be. When you decide, okay, I want to be in a relationship, you have to know what I like. You might like girls with short hair. This person might like girls with long hair. You might like a girl that is kind of sassy. Someone else might want a quieter girl. Someone might want a strong, independent woman, and then someone wants someone to take care of the kids. There's nothing wrong with an independent woman that wants to work. There's nothing wrong with someone who doesn't want to work and stay home. Is that for you? So when we ask these questions and say, put a one up if women are supposed to be quiet in church, or put a one up if the woman is supposed to work.
I'm not quiet.
It's only, is this what I want?
Right.
And you have to learn how to ask the right questions when you're dating to find that person for you. And there is no pastor can tell you, your woman is wrong because she needs to be doing this. No, I'm okay with this. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that the things that my husband does, I was told, oh, you won't stay with him long if he does that. And I'm like, you know what? This doesn't bother me. This bothers you.
Right.
There are some generals in the Bible that preachers and pastors want to get specific on. And if the Bible doesn't get specific on it, you got to take it as a personal conviction
What
or
you mean?
Leave it alone. Like what you just said, I'm kind of co-signing what you reiterating what you said. Like there are general statements in the Bible that you have to discern those things. Like it says a woman like should have I guess kind of like you could say it as an entrepreneur mindset, but that don't mean she has to do real estate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So certain statements in the Bible, like being quiet in the church, 10 different
but then that's
pastors
a church
gonna
thing.
take that to mean 10 different things.
But it's also a church thing. It's
So
not a marital thing.
If people would just leave the verses in the Bible as they are,
if they would read the whole verse, how about that?
Then
and know who Paul was talking to.
You have to specifically give Brittany specific things that the Bible don't get specific on.
And let's clear this up. Because the whole thing about women should be quiet in the church.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
You have to understand who Paul was talking to and what was going on in that church. That does not, it applies to us if we are doing that. But that was women trying to be above men. And it was like the whole feminist movement back then. And they were like trying to silence the men. If you read that whole thing, you understand like the women were trying to take over. That's why they should be silent in the church. But they're also, if you keep reading that same book, you find that there's women teachers. You see Moses' sister Miriam and the authority that she had. So they can't just say that and say all women should be quiet in the church.
What does that question say?
Well, why'd you just get quiet?
Because I heard my name.
So what are the questions y'all asking when y'all dating to find out if
So what are the questions y'all asking when y'all dating to find out if they are the ones for the one for y'all?
What do you want? You got to come up with your own questions.
I got a whole list of things.
Yeah.
But not what's your favorite color.
No, and I think that's that whole kidding stuff. I think you have to be able to have a certain level of discernment to understand whether or not whether or not the person that you're speaking with is really on that type of level of dating as you. Because there's people out here just dating just because they like to go out and eat with other people. Like they really just go out to casually date. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I had Tim on Friday. You know, Bob on
Free
Monday.
meals.
You know, I don't know who's on Tuesday, but I'm excited.
But
Free
not
meal.
understanding the purpose of
Hello,
dating.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, sometimes like me, I like to put
I
out
ain't trying to
feelers.
waste my time.
Yeah, I'm petty, but it's like, you know, because it's like at the end of the day, you know your people. Because at the end of the day, if I come out and say God is good
All the time.
and all the time,
God is good.
you know your people when you know your people, okay? And so it's like if you ask, hey, can I get your number? God is good. If you don't finish, what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and that's just a funny way of explaining it. My point is that, right. But it's like, what? You have to know yourself. I think that's where the questioning comes from, because you have to have a certain level of introspectiveness to know, like, let me look inwardly. Who am I? What do I want? What am I looking for? Does this align with what God has for me? And then with that, take that into your questioning and stop being scary. I tell this to people all the time. Y'all be tiptoeing around these dudes and be wasting 6 months dating somebody who should have never got a second call from you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then people, they be so scared, especially women in the church. I feel like that they're so afraid to date because they feel like God is sending me my man, and then they just it's men that
fakes
do it
without
too.
works is dead, baby. You got to do something.
They don't understand that. They will never. So it's no point in even talking about that.
But men that do the same thing.
Exactly. Wait on the Lord.
Wait on the Lord. My wife gonna come.
But be okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with dating. It's something wrong with going home with them and sleeping with them.
Yeah.
But going out and dating them and courting them and getting to know them, to ask them the questions, and you should know, this was a great guy. I've dated some guys and I can say this is a great guy, but I know for a fact he is not for me. And I ignore those. It's not red flags. It's that
they're worldly flags.
He's not. No, it might not even be worldly flags. He might be a man of God and say, "Well, I don't want any kids."
Okay.
And it's like, that's who he is. There's nothing wrong with that. He has free will. It would be wrong if I want kids.
Right.
You know, I don't want God to change me. I don't want him praying and say, God, please change her for me.
Right.
He's not for me and I'm not for him. And learn to be okay and say, you know what? This was a great man, but he's not for me. So move on next. And so when people want to say, oh, she out here dating everybody, please date everybody. You know, go and switch it up. You know, don't be afraid to go out with this person Monday and this person Tuesday, because all you know what you're doing. You're not sinning. Go ask the right questions and move on until you find the one that you need.
We really getting into this thing. Huh?
Yeah. You had some thoughts?
Those are some good things to dig into, I'll say. Yeah, I like to slow down because, boy,
get your rile
when
up.
the conversation on 100 miles an hour, I gotta be like, wait a minute, I gotta see, do I agree with everything? I gotta slow down.
Like too fast.
Yeah, you had some thoughts though.
Yes, I had some thoughts. So and maybe some just to expand some things. When I hear people, usually I typically hear women that are like, God is sending me my husband, and they're like unwilling to do anything to position themselves for this husband that God is sending.
Right.
I remember being in a conversation with a woman she's like 4'11", and she's like, there are men that are attractive at the church. In a perfect position. Well, I bring out her height. I bring out her height for specifically for the reason of the fact that people because of what I said to her afterwards in the conversation. She sees men in the church that she finds attractive. And I said, have you ever said hello to them? She goes, no, they got to see me. And I said, if they're so tall, they may physically not be able to see you.
Not in a perfect position.
They may physically not be able to see you. And so, like it's not so. But you have no problem talking to men you're not attracted to. You talk to all the men.
But they get mad when they get attracted to you.
You talk to men you're not like. It doesn't make logical sense. You talk to men. You will greet men you're not attracted to, but men that you find attractive that you would actually want to go somewhere with as it relates to a relationship. Nah, I can't talk to him. That doesn't make reasonable sense. And it's not pursuing, because you don't think you're pursuing any of the men you're not attracted to. So you say, hey, Caleb, how's it going? You don't like me? You say hey to me. And then, but the other guy, Adam over here, he's so fine. He need to holler at me. I'm going to have to tell him to talk to me. Why can't you say, hey, Adam, how's it going?
That's that new age stuff. I'm sorry.
But they just gonna miss out because
I'm about
you
to
don't
say you blocking your own blessings.
Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right. It really don't. And that's the thing.
Give you
like
advice.
you sit around and watch the next girl take and be like, well, how did she get him? She said hello. I mean, you know
You
what I'm
don't know
saying?
nothing
Like,
about that. Well,
What did it say?
You don't know nothing about that. So,
I think that they're so afraid of
that boy
like
K-Dot.
I think that a lot of women are so afraid of the idea of rejection, like they have no idea what to do with it if they were to get rejected.
So are men.
Men
Yeah.
are, but see, men know they have, but men understand they have to do, like, men know they're never going to get in a relationship if they don't say something.
yeah, that's the difference.
Women can be like,
Men
I'm
don't say
cute.
nothing.
Women are like, I can
Go
be
ahead.
cute and someone going to talk to me.
That's valid, but
Like,
Yeah.
men
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Men recognize that they will absolutely, unless they like famous, they know that in order for them to get something that they want, they're going to have to do some type of effort to get it. But women can be like, someone gonna holler at me. It's kind of like going to a job fair, and women are the employers and men are the job seekers. People are gonna show up to, if you are Google, a lot of people are gonna go to see you. If you're not necessarily Google, but you there, somebody gonna try to holler at you. Now, how many times you in a job fair, people are like, oh, come work here, come work here.
Yeah, we gotta put our application.
It's not
in.
as often that happens.
And you gotta be a job worth going to.
right. But I mean, you know what? And to play, let me not say that line, because you know I'm not playing nobody's devil advocate. But I just mean like to point out the other side. I will say there are a lot of women who do that because they are on the very strong side of, well, let's just take it back to, you know, the regular animal kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally were made of y'all. And then outside of that, if you look into the regular animal kingdom, the blandest animals be the women, because we're not supposed to do anything. It's the guys that got all the bright colors and all this extra stuff, and y'all shimmying and doing all this shaking and stuff. Yeah, the peacock. See, look at me, pick me, mate with me, and it's like, okay, you know, you just taking the pictures, looking around. You know what I'm saying? So it's like y'all do need to do a little shucking job once in a while. But I'm not saying girls can't say hello. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You can say, we can say hello. Girls do need to do better.
I'm not saying that women even need to say hello. I'm saying if a woman sees a man they find attractive and the dude never say anything, you can say hi.
Yeah,
You miss out.
but that's the thing, and that's what I do. I kind of clock you and wait, but the thing is, I throw little eyes over there, and if you don't pick up the eyes, you either slow or you just not interested, or you scary. And so, but if I see you leaving and I'm really interested, I'm gonna have to say hello just to put my shot. And if I get rejected, then it's like, okay, cool.
I'm not even saying women need to shoot their shot. I wouldn't even go in that far. I'm like, you can begin a conversation. We'll probably get into like how do you meet people and stuff like that.
That's definitely a question.
I get what you're saying.
I have different thoughts than a lot of people do.
I'm
Y'all
interested.
kind of on y'all there, but y'all.
I feel like we're gonna split. I feel like we're gonna split in a minute. We gonna see.
A lot of people
So
no.
about
I'm respectful.
let's go to the best place to meet. You know, somebody to pursue is obviously the church, right, guys?
Never. Right. Hold it down a little longer.
Find that button. So
Don't date the drummer. Don't date the soundboard guy.
You saw that video.
So go. Well, we'll go. We might go back to that question.
Yeah, because we didn't really answer it, but it was coming.
But like, why is it an issue trying to find somebody in the church? And also, why is that not like, okay, you just answer that first one. Why is it an issue? What issues do you have with, you know, meeting someone at the church? You know,
Because it feels like an after school hangout place, like after high school. You know, we linked up at the library. This is like the library, but like instead of being the library, it's church. Like, I mean, that's how I genuinely feel. I mean, y'all got games set up. You got a bunch of friends clicked up. You go into the church, you raise your hands, you force out a tear or two, then, you know, you leave and you link up again afterwards. I mean, if we being real, like, if we really being real, well, I'm just saying, like, half of them jokers in there are really just there to hold hands with their boyfriends without their parents around. And they can do it because they're at church. I mean, let's just be honest. Half of y'all are dating dudes you know you don't have no business dating. And the only reason you can meet up with them is because y'all are at church and your mom approves of the building. But it's not about the building. It's about the fundamentals in the building. But if we really thinking about it, I've heard plenty of people walk out the door of the church. I'm talking about into the main thing, dropping F-bombs. You forgot everything we talked about through the door and we back to business as usual. This is what I'm talking about. So it's like it's very hard to date in the church because it doesn't feel like the church. It feels like a subsection of the world with the name church on it.
Hold on, wait, because a lot of women, what she's saying, I've heard so many women. I know women.
That's the truth, though. It ain't mad.
She might be on here. She ain't on here, but they don't want a man of God. They look at them as weak. They want. I can't. Say
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this. I
they
can speak
want,
on
they
that
want
too.
the thug.
Please.
They
Here's the
want
thing.
but it's been like that in school.
can
Like
hear
No.
women
I
that's
agree with you.
smart.
I agree with you because here's the thing. I
Instead of-
grew up as the theater kid, so let's just be real with that. Like I got my swag through college, but I was green, been green, you know. But it's like I was the theater kid. I was the weirdo. I was the one that was running through the cafeteria in my old lady uniform, talking about something. Come see the play tonight. Like that was me. You know what I'm saying? But it's like nobody ever batted an eye at me. I was everybody's friend. But I barely knew anybody. Like I was acquaintances with almost half the school, but it was just because I just was me, really, and I just kind of walked around. I did my own thing. But even me being genuinely me, I wasn't popular because I wasn't walking around with booty shorts on. I wasn't being fast in the behind. I wasn't meeting guys up after the park doing stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. And because I wasn't doing that, I wasn't perceived as cool. And I used to be attracted to the guys that would do that kind of stuff, or I would always be attracted to the guys that were athletic and the football players and all that stuff. Not to say they have a bad rep, but I mean, be for real. But
it's like, why is that? Why are we naturally attracted
I
to that?
don't know that, and I think it's because
y'all naturally like that?
no.
You are too.
And I think it's because the
I don't like
definition of
football
masculinity,
players.
Not no more.
the definition of masculinity is
Hey,
completely.
never like football players.
I'm saying you don't like the bad girls,
Nah,
the girls.
Yes.
But the thing is, the guys are in the same breath. While we're sitting here talking about guys, in the same breath would be like, I like an all natural girl, but to bring a BBL girl home. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No. But let's talk about it
that's
though,
what I
because
was
you're
talking
like, I
about,
like an
nigga.
all natural girl. I don't want nobody wearing makeup. But you with the girl that got lip fillers. You with the girl that go and get her body. And it's like you. There's limits to what y'all say are hard passes.
Let me put it on him.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Hey, I don't want none of that junk.
But that's what you say.
But I look
But
at
then
the
your
same
like
people.
Instagram pages of girls that look exactly the opposite
I
of who you
I
say
don't
you
do
like.
all that. But look, the people.
It won't stop. I don't know what's going on.
Tap it again to make it stop.
Oh, there you
No,
go.
like when I saw like some popped a balloon and they said, "Nah, I want a girl natural," no. And I'm looking at this girl. I'm like, I know she got work done, and y'all like I would have popped my balloon, but y'all are over here giving her a chance and. Like, are y'all crazy?
And it's because they stopped thinking with their brain.
But I'm gonna tell you what happened with them. The game changed.
Yep.
It wasn't. I'm trying to find somebody to build a relationship with. It was like, oh, I got to do some with this girl now. The temptation, the pleasure sensors took over.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say they want a girl with no eyelashes, but that's the ones they pick, and
That's
then they
the one
wonder
they
why
pick.
we get eyelashes.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. I don't know. Like,
So
you go ahead,
all right. So
brother.
multiple things.
I know he revved up. You ready to go?
I'm
I like this conversation.
Come on.
I'm really chilling.
Hit him with the
I'm really chilling.
I'm revved up.
So a few things. I think that. So the first thing was about how women like a lot of like these men that are like basically like hard thugs, whatever they are. I think when you boil it down, that women, one of the things that they desire is security. And so even through a warped view, those types of men provide a level of security. And so whether it's because they're big and strong, there's like a physical security that they can provide. Not to say that they actually do by like that the women should feel secure.
There's some traits about them that are good.
They can see, they feel like, oh, people respect him. He's like strong and masculine, and there's a level of security that can come with that. It's not to say that they actually really, I'm not saying that women truly appreciate
No.
that.
I hear what you're saying. I just feel like with that level of security comes a level of immaturity. But you can continue to keep going. No. I agree with you.
But
I'm
the
just like
security part. So if they can trick us to provide this level of security, how are they doing that?
Well, wait, how are they
falling
men?
for
If a
that?
man
Why
is
are women
confident,
falling for that
he can
false
make
security?
some people believe some stuff and be confident.
So I mean, I think that, for example, I think the opposite of a lot of those men is like the nice guy, who he doesn't necessarily immediately present all that level of security, even though maybe he'd be more emotional. He may provide more emotional security.
You're probably growing into it
but
more
you
naturally.
can't discern
That's our
that just
natural.
by experience, by seeing
Man,
it.
it's natural.
And so I think when you hear a lot of what a lot of the main things that you hear about what women really appreciate in men, about their height, about their money, about their status, about some women, about men's sexual like prowess, is that all of that in some weird way can be boiled in some level of security. him being a certain height is like a physical security. Him having certain money is like financial security. Him having status is like your life security, like the experiences that you get to do. And then sexual security is like, you know, you're gonna be able to be sexually pleased. And so it's not to say that they're good, but I think it gets at the base of what a lot of women are looking for. They desire to be secure.
So I think God created it for women to, men are providers.
Correct.
And they provide security. And we need that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a necessity for us.
The right
and
security.
so I don't think that we sense security from someone we see. I think it's more of, I think we lie to ourselves. I think we're lustful.
There it is.
We're lustful. And it's for men too. And we see someone that this person I am attracted to.
Right.
And so I'm going to make him everything that I need. I'm going to make this man change. And that's not fair. And then when we get into these toxic relationships, they told us who they are. We've told them who we are, but we don't care. I'm not pointing at you. But when a man was like, oh, I don't never want to get married, or I don't never want to have children, and we still, instead of saying you're not for me, we still, he don't know what he needs. I'm a change him. And then now we're in abusive relationships, toxic relationships. We're giving up our virginity and all these things because we're afraid to lose this person. And then what do? We take it to the altar. Lord, please change this man. Bring this man. God's like, that man don't belong to me. I gave him free will.
He said, don't even call my name. I didn't even put my hand on this.
He ain't said nothing. He ain't asked for me. He ain't even said my name. So I can't do anything. I can only give you somebody that belongs to me. Right. And we get into all this trouble, and guess what? Now God ain't real. Now we're leaving the church.
I saw a post on Instagram the other day that really put stuff into perspective to me, because I've always been the type that's like, and this is gonna be a shocker to most people, but not really though. But it's like, I've never been in a relationship before. I've never been in a serious relationship. It's never got past the talking stage, because my discernment is fine. Like, I feel like that's like one of the gifts I've gotten from God, but it's like, I smell that before most people do. And it's like, I just, that, you don't got that smell on you. You know, you just, you don't got that oil. You know, you just can't smell the oil. You can't smell it. And so I just go before, and they be like, dang, where'd she go? Before they even get settled. It's because I'm not in the business of wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? And so I've never been in a relationship, because it's like, I date for marriage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people out here use that word of like, we text for a week and all of a sudden I'm banning your phone. Don't disrespect me like that. You didn't even earn that title. Like, I can't stand. We text for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden I'm bae with hearts on your phone. Like, what do you mean? What's my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand them iMessage daters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all talk, y'all talk for a month.
I'm telling you,
y'all talk for a month, and all of a sudden y'all solidify. That's bae. It's like, how? What's bae's first name, last name, middle name? What does he like to do? What are his, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all not asking these questions. And I think, again, I go back to saying, these people, y'all are scary. And what camera is it? All of y'all are scary, okay? Right, y'all are scary, okay? And, y'all are scary, okay? We gonna find the camera. All of y'all scary, okay?
Who's the scary people though?
Women and men, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because y'all sit on these dates, y'all twirl around this spaghetti. You know you hungry, sis, and you eating this salad like you don't want that burger. Like, I'm going to be myself 100% on the first date, because I'm not playing around. Yes, I could smash 2 burgers, probably eat more than you. And what about it? Are you gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just, y'all put on these fronts, these facades, y'all start dating the facades, and then get pissed when y'all forget that y'all were putting on the facades, and they drop, you're like, who is this? And they be like, oh, that's the dude that she was lying to in the beginning. He was also lying. Now y'all looking at people, it's like the whole makeup effect. You go to the club, they turn on the lights. Ooh, you know who is that? The girl you've been talking to all night? Just because they had some cover on don't mean it's going to drop eventually. That's why it's like, I always tell people, be silent first. You clock somebody, clock them for real. Watch them a little bit. You always hear people say, oh, how did you meet? I saw her from across the room. And guess what he did? Before he approached, he watched you. I used to get told my whole life, you stare too much. You stare too much. There's a reason why I stare. Because you can learn a lot from people's actions. Because when they don't think anybody's watching them, they're naturally being themselves. So if I'm at the bar and you over there chilling, and I got my little martini, and you over there throwing them back because you don't think nobody's watching, I'm clued in. You might have a drinking problem. Now, most people are like, oh, well, he can fix that. Okay, or he can whoop your behind. I'm sorry. We have to think about all the things. Everybody's like, oh, you just doomsday. I'm not doomsday. I'm just not gonna be out here doing Delulu stuff, because that's something that's popular in 2024 too. I'm calling y'all ladies out. Oh, I just like to be Delulu. That's not cute. It's not cute. Like, I can't deal with people who aren't intelligent. It really makes my brain itch. Like, when I'm around people that just feel like they're stupid, like when they literally texting messages. Oh yeah, LOL, FMO. Oh, that's not even Sigma. Like, what are we talking about? Like, y'all are literally like slow. Like I hold my degree and my intelligence on my chest because I worked hard for it. I'm not a dumb girl, and I don't want to converse with dumb people. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, with that, there's a certain status of people that can come in my circle and converse with me. And that doesn't mean that you're not a good person. That just means you're not my person.
Yo, this episode about to blow up.
I'm just saying, like, y'all have to start walking.
No, this one of them episodes.
Yeah, y'all have to start walking. Ladies and men have to start walking, knowing what they come and bring to the table. Because everybody's like, oh, what do you bring to the table? I have a whole list of things I bring to the table, including the table. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to know, because people are like, oh, I'm just the girl that's going to sit at the table. And you're going to be the silly one that if something happens, it's like people don't think about the full picture. You're only thinking about what you can get at that moment, like you said, temptation in that moment. But you have to start thinking broad picture. You have to start asking broader questions. Oh, it's too early to ask that question. No, it's not. Why would I waste 3 months tiptoeing around it when we could have killed it the first night?
That's what
Let's be for real. I'm going to ask the question, the burning itching questions. Are you a Christian?
Are you a Christian?
Because people get people scared to ask that question nowadays. Oh, they want to ask this right here. Are you spiritual? Do you know what that could also mean? Crystals, sage.
Do you believe in God?
Meditation bowls. No. Let me be very clear. Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Do you believe in God? Are you out here doing stuff that doesn't align? Are you a zodiac fiend? I want to know all that. That's the first thing I have you blocked on my phone. What's your done? Because I already know what you want. That's the first thing you're gonna ask me? Oh, because then they're gonna hit you with the whole, oh, you a Scorpio? Oh my gosh.
Yo, when they say like you a Cancer, oh nah. When I see you pop with a balloon, they pop it because you a Cancer.
I don't even mess with Cancers. You're a Taurus. Oh my God.
The Ninja Turtle friend. You did me a favor.
Right. Thank you.
I don't know. I might pop a Scorpio.
Oh, you know what's so crazy though? And I'm not even a zodiac person, but everybody hate us, but we love everybody. You know what I'm saying?
You a Scorpio?
Sorry.
Oh, my daddy. Daddy is Scorpio. Know what I'm saying?
We keep it real though. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing.
You see what I'm saying? And Poppy ain't the same as that.
I just feel like if people start being real with themselves and stop lying and ask the questions that you're itching to ask, everybody sits down at a date and there's a question that pops up and you bury it and you ask a different question. Everybody's felt it. They're like, oh, it's probably too early to ask it. Ask it, because that could save you 15 dates if you wasting your time with this dude. And women, we get attached fast. It takes 2 weeks to create a habit, bro. 2 weeks of seeing somebody back to back, you're gonna get used to seeing them. So it's like, even if you know that's not your person, you created a habit. It takes 2 weeks to create a habit, but years to break it. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy. Like with weight loss and dieting and stuff. It takes 2 bagels to give you a fupa, but it takes 3 years to lose it. Like, be for real.
I never thought as quick as we get,
you know what I'm saying? You get attached like this. It's literally how we are. We are maternal creatures. We are women.
Oh, and speaking on like being maternal creatures, we tend to get in these toxic relationships and we feel like that's who we are. We mother, so we take care of our husbands. That's what we're supposed to do. But then we get in these relationships and we can be in an abusive relationship,
right? And
I gotta save him.
You
know, and now he's beating me up every day. Oh, but I see who he can be. You know, God needs me to help him. Like,
I'm done with the man.
God is the savior, not us. Let him. You be single.
Thank you.
You come to me. You let me work on you. If he decides to come to me, I'll work on him. You ain't got no business with him until he belongs to me. And I say,
I got a good
he gives them to you.
I want to add to that too. So one of the things that I be thinking about setup and all that. My brain don't be like,
it's okay.
But there was a good thought I had, like, okay, that some people would feel bad that you can't be with them when they're going through their trauma, their hurt, and it's like,
ain't your job.
It's not.
But also it's like, that's not gonna help either of us.
No, it's not.
So it's not gonna. So it's not that, like, you know, I hate anybody, but it's like, let's we're not at a place where a relationship will work anyways.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Be real with yourself.
Because you shouldn't be dating anybody that has that many issues where they need you that much.
At the end of the day, if you feel like you need a
I have
relationship,
issues, it's like I don't need to date
You,
nobody right
yeah,
now.
no,
Wouldn't
you
you
need
say?
to be with you and God.
I think the issue is a lot of people are insecure.
Yeah.
And they don't really understand that they don't understand themselves. Like they don't understand like their own autonomy. Like you can be by yourself. Like it's okay.
Really, you
like,
can.
Like I think that we have a lot of people that need to be around or engaging with people. I think that's part of like an offshoot of like social media. Like there's people like it seem like they feel like they need to always be engaging with people.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like relationally, like people need to be like I know people that can't go to do things by themselves.
Yeah.
Like they can't go to dinner by themselves, or they can't go to the movies by themselves. Like they can't do the X thing by themselves. And it could. I remember there was a dude when I was in college, like he didn't want to go to the food court by himself. He was willing to pay me to go with him to get lunch. Like I was done. I was good. I ate. I just ate. He didn't want to go by himself because he didn't want to be by himself. And so I think that we have issues where people will do a lot to maintain relationships, because you see this with even friendships that are toxic friendships, where people are or organizations or whatever the case may be, where people are seeking to maintain places that they shouldn't be just because they care too much about being around people.
That's the work of the devil too. Distractions.
So
You got to be whole.
GT,
With,
Whole
some
before you-
people
yeah.
are codependent to a fault.
Yes.
Growing Richard said some too many folks in my home church town.
That was back when you
family.
said, "Why don't you want to date people in the church?" And he said, "There's too many people that he know in his church. Like it's all too close to home."
Yeah, that's.
I knew you said she was this small. I wouldn't want to do that neither.
Yeah.
if you're at a place, like, you have to know yourself.
Facts.
You have to be honest with yourself. When God says do not lie, it's don't lie to yourself, because
Right.
he's not stupid. He knows. And so you have to know who you are. And if you know you have issues and you're too scared to go out by yourself, or like you need somebody to fulfill you, first of all, you never need anybody to complete you. If you feel like that, then you know you are not whole with God.
Right.
And being single, and that's why being single is so important, and so many single people miss out on it, because if you feel like once I get married, then I'll be okay, you will not be okay. And all those issues that you have, you will still have. And now you're bringing someone else into it with those issues.
Right.
And now God's got to work on both of y'all, and y'all probably won't make it, and y'all end up divorced. God doesn't take two broken eggs and make a whole egg.
Right.
You become whole with God first. They become whole with God first, and then you come together. You have to learn how to be single.
And that brings you back to that post I was talking about earlier, Ashley. The one where I said a lot of people are so uncomfortable being single, but it's like I saw a post that said, though it was like one of them posts where it was like a picture here and you swipe and it was another picture. The first picture was a girl crying in the bed like, "Why have I been single for so many years?" And the second picture was a dude praying, "God, please protect my future wife." Like sometimes you don't understand what the reason for your solitude is. Sometimes God's trying to isolate you. Sometimes he wants you to grow and learn something. Sometimes he just wants you to sit down because he knows what's on the horizon. You don't have to be clued in on everything. You just have to listen. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have been single for 3 years, but that fourth year, your husband come in. Just relax. And in them 3 years, be introspective. What is it that you could be working on? Like you said, people want to be a wife, but don't want to take the steps to be a wife, because then you get into a wifely position and you blown. Oh gosh, this is what it takes? Yeah. And had you been preparing yourself all them years you was complaining about being single, you probably would have been more ready when old dude comes. And then dude comes, you don't treat him right, you fumble him, then you go back to God and be like, "God, how could you do this to me?" He literally gave you your husband on a platter and you didn't do right by it because you weren't doing what you needed to do to prepare yourself for that title. Like, I mean, y'all beg for stuff and sometimes God gonna give it to you. You want it so bad here, just to show you not ready. It's like, everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer on that. I do not believe in coincidences. It is what it is. And if it's happening, you need to look at your surroundings and what you got going on and think, okay, what exactly do I have going on that could possibly put me in this situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in a situation with a dude, never talked to somebody in my life, finally gave this dude a chance, talked to him for a few months, realized that I have an emotional disorder that I didn't know about that stemmed from my dad leaving when I was younger. And so I have a situation where it's very hard for me to control my emotions and my outbursts. That's something that I need to get right with God and fix before I get into a relationship and dump all that trauma onto my husband, especially considering that other people's trauma can trigger traumas to come back to life. So your husband that's done all this work to get himself to where he is when he presented himself to you, and now here you come to him not ready, trauma dumping on him and possibly triggering him to go backwards. Then you get this cycle of brokenness, and then everybody looking at God like, how could you do this when we're doing it to ourselves? Like that's really the issue.
Well, I think
okay, go ahead.
Something to consider there is one of the first things you talked about was about how people are getting married older.
Yeah.
People getting married older. And I think that we have a lot of conversation nowadays about trauma, healing, therapy, all these different things. And I think that has unexpectedly people are consistently, because you're really never at a point of like total healing. And so we're continuing to like seek to try to be healed. And I think that what happens is because that can unexpectedly do is actually make us be even like further down the line.
Hold on now.
Before.
What?
Psychologist in the building.
Like I'm saying, it puts you further. I think it can put us further down the line before we actually decide to go get married. Because like I still got to do this. And we can keep pushing the goalpost of when we feel like we're actually ready to try to get married.
So you gotta have balance, because yes, there are some things that my relationship is not gonna work if I don't get this right. But then we can put too high standards on ourselves and never get into a relationship. So it's like, I feel like, is that what you're saying? Like, you gotta have a balance.
I heard somebody say it this way. They said, we know so much about relationships keeping us single.
That's true. That is a very good point. Like, because some people are going to have like certain pet peeves. Like, you can't be a utopian angel when you get married.
But that goes into asking the right question.
Right.
And are they okay with this? And are you okay with
the crazy that you're willing to deal with?
Yeah.
I say the crazy, but like and
you're still gonna find more
because
stuff.
what's crazy to one person is not
you're also
to another.
still gonna learn more stuff while you're married. Like, if you've asked anybody that's been married for like 20 years, like the person they're married to 20 years in is different than the person they were married to when they first started. Like, they are a different version of that person. They've been through a lot of life. They've learned that with that person. So there is a leap of, in some degree, it's a leap of faith to go ahead and get married.
Also, well, you do take faith, but you also have to both be willing, and that's what you're going to find out when you're dating.
Right.
Are you willing to communicate? Are you willing to, be understanding? And so when if I tell you, like, one of the things that my husband does is he has a really loud voice, and I really hate it. And then we could be having a discussion. We can be talking about bunnies, and he'll be yelling. I'm like, bring it down.
Oh, that hit me real quick.
The bunnies were there yesterday, Bree.
Yeah, it's like when I tell him, please stop yelling at me, like, you're too loud. And if he was like, oh, I'm gonna talk to you how I want to talk to you,
no,
it's like, okay, no, we can't do that. But what he does is like, okay, I love this person, and this person, I don't have to have pride with this person. She's telling me she doesn't like this. I want to change for her. And then vice versa. Like, if I'm doing something, he's like, you know what, this, I really don't like when you do this. I could say, I'm do it anyways, but I don't. I'm like, okay, I love this person. I want to be with this person. So I'm willing to be like, okay, I'm sorry, and that's who you have to find. And so when you're growing and when you're changing, and you might didn't do this 10 years ago, but now you do, that person is y'all have communicated, y'all have had that conversation, and that's how you make a marriage last forever.
That's so good. And I want to say that's good because that also proves the fact that people need to start asking these questions earlier on, because the deeper you get into a situation with somebody, the more you feel like you need to spare their feelings or swallow what you want to say for real to kind of spare it because you care about it. And so it's crumble. Like, right, that's going to crumble. So, and then also, the earlier you get these questions out of the way, they have no reason to spare your feelings. They don't know you yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you say, hey, I'm waiting till marriage to have sex. They can be like, hey, no, I'm trying to smash tonight. Okay, well, have a nice night. And y'all could dip and separate. But if y'all have been talking for months already and that question hasn't come up yet, and then you say, hey, I'm waiting till marriage, he'll be like, oh, yeah, me too. along the way already knowing, oh, I'm plotting to do, XYZ, or flip the girl's plotting to do XYZ. But I'm saying if you ask these questions, the uncomfortable questions first, both parties stand to lose nothing if they're honest with you, brutally honest, because you don't know anything about me. I don't know anything about you. We don't have any emotional ties yet. So if I ask you this question, you won't be offended. You'll just tell me the truth straight up. And when you hear the truth, believe them the first time. Don't try and think, well, I can just change it later. Or, fix this later. Oh, well, yeah, that doesn't really line up with me, but everything else was great, so we can just ignore that. No, like, there's so many people out here in this world. Like, you don't have to settle for the first thing you see.
You know what causes people to feel like they have to hide their hand a little bit? I would say.
Is there a way I could? I'm so sorry. I did not mean to cut you off. I'm burning up. Can I take this jacket off?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just didn't want to show my shoulders. Cause no problems. Okay.
What kind of church we in? Pentecostal?
Okay.
That's too much shoulder now. Hold on now. You ain't right. You ain't Ryan or none no more. Yeah, so people can get to this place where they're like,
okay.
People can get to this place where they're anxious, and it's like, I want a relationship so bad, I'm gonna hide my hand, and whatever they say, and then it's like you said, man, you in for a rude awakening. Mm-hmm. You need to bite the bullet and just be like, hey, this is who I am from the beginning. Because if you don't do it in the beginning, you're gonna be stuck with some situations.
Yeah.
But it goes off like what he said earlier, like when you don't want to go anywhere by yourself, and you have to. And when I was like, you have to be whole with God, meaning, you have to be. You have to be content with who you are now. Who you are now is you're single. And God has already gave you everything that you need. If he needed you to be married, you would have that. So you have to see, what do I have around me now? When I was single, I had my children around me. I had my grandmother around me, my brothers. And so it was taking my sister to the mall and taking my kids to do this. And,
they help
after
you make
work,
sound decisions.
Yeah,
out of emotion and anxiety.
Yeah, like after work, I'd go out to eat by myself, and I sit at the bar, and maybe I always meet like these old ladies who were married, and they would give me like all this kind of advice, and I had a good time, and I found joy in being single. So I didn't need my husband to fulfill my happiness. I was content. I learned to be content. Like, God, you've already blessed me with all of this. And the thing is, like, God needs us to have relationships. Yes. But look at our relationships that we have. Are they toxic? Are we in a toxic relationship with our mother? Are we in a toxic relationship with our father or our brothers and sisters? One thing God told me was, I need you to work on the relationships that I already gave you. Why would I put another relationship in your life?
You can't even cherish now.
When I can't even have good relationships with what he's already given me. And God wants us to respect and to, Jesse uses that word all the time, be a good steward over what
good steward with the arm.
You gotta be
He like chill out on me. Not too much.
Yeah. Be a good steward over what he already given us before he will bless us with more. And so if you see that, okay, God, you're not giving me this wife or this husband, then it's time to take a look at, okay, what have you given me? And then you will start seeing like, oh, where did you come from?
Well, I think you gotta basically maximize your singleness. Like, so we talk about questions to ask, like when you would to know somebody's one or whatever. I'm sure we'll get more into it, but one question I love asking women when I first start talking to them, I say, it might be the first question, like in terms of like if I get their number or whatever. I'm like, what's exciting in your life? What's exciting in your world these days? And if they
the club
but it's an open-ended question.
It is.
And you know how many times I get nothing? It's like, you do nothing. Like, you're a grown person and you do nothing. Like, and so
late by the time I find it.
But I love that. The reason I love that question is because, one, I recognize a lot of people like to be reflexive with their question, meaning that, like, I ask a question, they ask it back to me. I have a lot that's going on in my life. There's a lot I can talk about. I came on Ashley's podcast today. Oh, and then I can talk about the drive down here and what it was like. I have all this, like, talk about a story just coming to the podcast. Oh, I've written several books. Oh, I can talk about what the process about writing a book is. Oh, I go to this church and I serve in the church. And I got this, I'm doing all these things. For men, the way the question can be asked is that if we're looking for a help me, well, if you ain't doing nothing, you have nothing that you need help to be getting done. And then for women, the way that you can understand the question is that if you aren't doing anything, how would I know that you can help me? And so, and it's not like that should be like the reason why you ask the question. I think it's good for just conversation just in general. But as we're talking about singleness, is that there's a lot of people that are just single waiting to be married, not single fulfilling their singleness. And enjoying that, like truly enjoying.
You're not happy where you are now.
Yeah. You just single waiting.
It's just kind of an experience that I have right now. Oh, I'm single. Like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I'm not here like, oh boy, I can wait till I'm somebody's husband. Like,
it's easier to be in that mindset when you had a relationship and you out of it.
What mindset?
Like when you're in a relationship for the first time, or whatever, then you out of the relationship, then now you got to get back to that place where, then when you forget what the relationship was like, and you're so good like being by yourself,
it's hard to go
then
back.
you like, oh, I want to go back. I want to go to a relationship now. So it's like, just getting out that relationship, you feel like, oh, now you understand. So it's a scary thing, because it's like, you really don't. It's hard to get to the place where you understand singleness until you're in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, then you're like, oh, now I know what that singleness was for.
But see, I get that through my friends, though. I'm the type of people who's like, how do you always have all this advice when it comes to relationship and stuff? And how do you do it? I'm like, because the way a relationship should go has already been written for me. I'm just regurgitating what I've read and what I've come to know and what I've watched through you. I'm getting my do's and don'ts through all of my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching what you're doing, and then like taking note. Okay, not doing that. Okay, that was kind of good. Taking that one up. Yeah. Definitely not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get it through experiences through other people as well. And I think and also saying that also sometimes deters people from wanting to actually be in a relationship, because the examples around them might be super toxic or bad, and they're like, well, if this is what a relationship is, then I don't want no parts of it. Same.
Does that give you peace in your singleness?
No. What, like, as far as like for me?
Yeah, I was saying like when you go into a relationship, you can have peace in your singleness after, because you're like dang, like now. Oh yeah, like you don't really want to be single like that unless you find a way to be content, or you're in a relationship and now you realize what you missed out.
Being real, I think it gives me peace and content, and being content in my singleness, watching my other friends' trial and errors, because all their trials and errors are things I didn't think that I could possibly have as a trial and error. And then it highlights like, oh, you know what? That probably would have been me. So maybe it's good that I'm still single, because I still have their trials and errors highlight things that I still need to work on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm introspective, but only to a certain fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody kind of has certain blinders on when it comes to them. Nobody's fully 100% introspective. Otherwise, we'd all be out here, getting things done when we need to get them done and doing things the right way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are some blind spots that sometimes it takes another person to kind of bring that out in you for you to be able to know, oh shoot, I have that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said with the other dude, I would have never known I would be able to get to where I got unless I had encountered this man. And so it's like watching their trials and errors, I'm like, ooh, and then putting myself in their shoes, like, man, you know what? I probably would have did X, Y, Z. Oh, maybe I should work on that. So that's kind of where I'm taking it as from. Not like, oh, I don't want to deal with what they're dealing with, but it's more like the stuff they're dealing with is because they didn't work on those things before they got in that relationship. So let me take note of that and fix it before mine comes around, so I don't have to deal with that.
That's good. I
got a question though. Are you at a place where, okay, like you said, outbursting? Do you think that is something that is gonna, that you should wait to get in a relationship till you fix that thing, or do you think that's something that can be, worked on as you grow with the person? Do you think that should stop you?
No,
at this moment?
I don't think it should stop me, but I think I should not keep it to myself. I think that's something that I need to be completely upfront.
You ain't gonna keep this.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna stay very long. No, but my point is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already a loud person. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of personality behind me. I'm loud. My voice is deeper than the average person. Like, I'm just real. in your face, like, and on accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a theater kid. I'm quirky. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like.
You're trying to change that?
No. I'm not trying to change it, but for a while I did. So it's like I'm relearning myself all over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm at a place now where it's like I'm slowly learning who Ryan is again, which is why I know I'm years out from being ready to be in a relationship for real. But I will say though, I don't let it stop me from being in a relationship because I never know the type of man that might cross my path. You know, it might be a situation where, like, you know, I look at my mom and my dad. They've gone through so many growths together. Like my dad growing closer to his faith and stuff, getting less angrier. My mom, you know, becoming, you know, like, I mean, they grew together as a person, and she didn't wait for his anger issues to be gone before she married him. You know what I'm saying? They grew and fixed that with God in the center and did that. So I don't think it's impossible. I'm just saying, unless an opportunity like that presents itself with God's stamp of approval, I'm not seeking to be in a relationship right now. It's more so if it crosses my path.
But you're talking about personality versus like toxic traits. Like your personality is a beautiful thing, and I've heard so many men that describe women like you, they want a woman like you, but then having something as a toxic trait where men are controlling and basically being a dictator in their own home, and you gonna do what I say, like that's something that needs to change. And the way they're gonna know that change is when people say, you know what, I'm not tolerating that. That won't be me. And then they'll like, okay, nobody wants to deal with me. So if I want to be loved and if I want relationships, I could, it don't even have to be relationships like marriage relationships. It could be relationship with my children, you know, relationships with, you know, my, whoever, friends. They have to say, you know, because I'm lonely, I need to change this because this is what's causing people not to want to be around me.
And that was the problem for me. You know, I had to, and when I say like having to learn who I am again, I'm also having to unlearn a lot of things that I picked up growing up. You know, the like even like small little things like the colorism within Black people is crazy, and I didn't realize I had so much internalized colorism on accident. You playing the online games, you're creating your Abby, and I make mine 3 shades lighter than I am because I know in the game they'll like me better because I'm a light-skinned girl. I don't want them to know I'm dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so internalized and ingrained.
Well, eyes be dark.
But you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's so ingrained into what I'm saying. Like I mean, like you play these games, you don't even think about it. My Barbie white. Like I'm not even thinking about it. Like
I made my character and my brother was like, a little more pink than that. I'm like,
right, and my thing is
I want my
and you don't even think about it. Yeah, you don't even think about it. Like me, I had to right. You see? But it's like, and I had to unlearn these type of things. Like even to the point where I had to unlearn changing my voice. I used to always I used to always get talked about as a child because my voice was always deeper than the average girl. They used to make fun of me like, you know, you're a trans, you're a dude. And so I used to always get made fun of like that, saying, you know, like,
but Beyonce got a deep voice.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But then you bring that up and it's like, yeah, but that's Beyonce and look at you. So it's like, it'll always be that thing. Like you're quoting a celebrity and you're nothing close to a celebrity. So that doesn't apply to you. You're just weird. And so I used to, out of habit, when I would encounter male species, I would change my voice and be like, hey, you know, and Lord. Just raise it up. And then they would be like, oh, you know, I like your voice. I'm like, thanks. I'm like, dang it. You know, in the back, like, just knowing good and well, I sound like Dion. But, you know, it's different. But now I'm having to relearn, not because, you know, that stuff becomes second nature. Like I said, it takes 2 weeks to build a habit. I'm 25. I got a lot of undoing to do, you know. And so with that, it's coming across someone who would be willing to work with me on my shortcomings and not judge me for it or use it against me in an argument or something like that down the line. Like someone who's really coming in a posture of, I understand you and I take you as you are, and I know that you can only go up from here. Like that would be what it would take for me to be willing to date right now.
Interesting though, like in school, like when we're younger, we're all kids, we're all saying things based off of, you know, the first thing we see before we have a chance to look deeper into, you know, things that, you know, certain jokes that, you know, we hear and we'll say. I mean, I was never like that type of dude, but I just know like that's kind of, we just talk certain ways. Like Ashley, you got the girl name, probably gay. Mama didn't know what gender the baby was.
Ryan, the boy name.
You know what I'm saying? So those things, like when I was in middle school, I wanted to change my name to Keaton. You know what I'm saying? My middle name. And that ain't really too masculine either. But, you know, so it's interesting to me that like everybody sees themselves through a different lens than other people see you. So the people that like that see you and they're like, yo, who's that girl? I want to holler at her. They probably just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just different reasons why people don't talk to each other. They probably thinking, you know, like some women I'd be thinking, she got an attitude. You know, so it just you just never know what the thing could be that keeps somebody from talking to you.
But it's the explanations that they give nowadays that's crazy. Like
I'm gonna tell you,
I've gotten some crazy. Go ahead.
no, I'm gonna tell you why folks don't talk to you. Cause when you walked in this door, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna tell the truth. So believe me, you probably people probably feel like they out your league. I'm not lying because I thought you was a model or had your own podcast.
She out our league.
They are out. They probably look and say she's she's out my league.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Because I thought you was like a model or had a podcast. I didn't really know. I was like, I didn't know who actually had it. How did you get her on the podcast? And then he was like, oh, she go to Victory about.
You know, I know people.
So
you know what I'm saying?
The way that you are dressed, the way that your makeup is like.
She famous.
I appreciate it. I appreciate. Stop. It was one video, Ashley.
But look, I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna get to these Bible examples in a minute. It's gonna be fun. But I'm gonna tell you, like, what maybe it's women. Y'all can speak for men if y'all want to, but what people don't realize, like, a woman can be looks will change in seconds, in minutes. When you open your mouth, you look like a completely different person. It's just how it is. Like, first glances, somebody I don't think somebody, like, to me, can look like I'm just, you know, I don't give ratings, but I'm just using it for the example so you can understand.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't say, like, if somebody looks like a 4 to me, they're not going to look like a 10 because they're the nice person in the world. But if you're like, I look at you like my cousin, like, I don't really see your face, like, I don't really notice you. Then you start talking, your personality, people don't understand. Like, if women, maybe men, if they focus more on personality, like, yo, I'm gonna be the nicest person, I'm gonna be understanding, I'm gonna bring peace, you will look more attractive.
Yeah.
Hold on, I do not think that.
That is so true. Well, for me, I'm telling you, I've seen
women do not want the friend.
So that's what. So earlier we talked about.
And you tell me if I'm wrong, bro.
No, because I agree.
Y'all
I agree with you. I think that because there's this like I think this myth that men truly like these IG models and stuff like that.
It's not a myth. The likes are visible.
But
40,000 likes in 2 seconds.
We got like 2.
And they're not getting married.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But one thing that's very consistent about these IG models, like you said, they're not married.
Oh,
men are not.
Men either.
Men are not.
Women in the jogging pants and the long T-shirt.
So there's 2 things.
At the grocery store, get married.
There's 2 things that are at play in these in these instances. 1, the IG models don't typically get married. 2, the men they date aren't men that women want to marry. So I said 1, the IG models typically don't get married, and 2, the men that they do end up actually dating aren't men that women would actually want to date.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, you're single and you have social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not into the whole IG model.
On social media too.
Okay, so you're not into the IG model and stuff like that, right?
I am or I'm not.
I'm asking, like, you're not. I'm assuming you're not because you're saying men are not really into that. Like, that's not who they want.
I would not. I am known for, like, if she got too much going on her Instagram, I'll be like,
yeah. So, are you the girls that you do like? Are you liking their pictures?
The girls that I do like.
That you find like.
Oh yes.
So, because women see the IG model, even seeing that their boyfriend or whatever is on there looking at these women, they look at these women and what's the word? You can't say the P word, ORN. What I gotta say?
Oh, corn. Okay,
corn. You know, this is who they're looking at, and we see that it hurts us.
Y'all
don't
know Solomon,
we want
y'all don't know Solomon.
Women that are women of God, that's, not doing too much, that really, wants to be a wife. We're not getting the likes. If those women were getting the likes on Instagram, more women would be like that.
I'm gonna tell you what it is though, because what y'all see, Now, I'm not over here liking women's pictures, like, no, I'm not doing it. But what y'all don't see, if y'all look in the Bible and y'all see who Solomon was, he talked to every different type of looking woman. Men don't have a strong, like, oh, that's what y'all see. That's the woman that y'all see him like. But men are attracted to way more than, like, different types of women.
But the girls that's not doing all of that are not getting any likes.
Well, I don't even agree with that.
That's
Actually,
not true.
I'm sorry. I got to tap in right here because I don't even believe it. I don't even believe that, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't believe that. I'm just gonna keep it real right now.
I believe it is.
I understand that, but you are in the 6% of men who think like that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we are in and both of y'all are, but we are in. I'm talking about right now in 2024, the type of men that we're dealing with. The type of men that are out and single, the type of men that we're dealing with, the ones that want to be, because it's like at this point, I'm finding it difficult to find truly masculine men. That's one. Two, it's like, do I hold your hand on the day or are you holding mine? When you lean across the counter, am I supposed to be smacking your behind or are you supposed to be smacking mine? It's like everything. Do I pump your gas? Like, it's a lot of stuff that's getting blurred right now. And I'm trying to say this because it's like everybody want to say, oh, I don't have a type. Guys don't really have a type. You know what I'm saying? It's like guys don't really have a type. You know what I'm saying? Like guys are attracted to way more, and like I would respect that if more guys thought like that. But there are guys who will hands down see a dark skinned woman and be like,
Maybe
What?
What?
Oh,
I don't know.
What?
no, off the strength of color alone.
No. I'm not even gay. But I feel like maybe because I'm light skinned, but I feel like dark skinned women, especially like because you have like your skin is like perfect.
But you know why? Women appreciate that more, not men. And I'm gonna tell you why. I have to go to Europe to get worshipped, honey. The white men over there love us.
You didn't see Balloon Pop? They was like, they like the
but
women.
you know what the crazy thing is? But look at where they were at, though. I'm talking about
Arizona.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you have to look at where.
So I mean, I think there's value in the cultural conversation, as in Arizona versus Atlanta versus Europe and all the things. But I think that for the general conversation, like. And it still is difficult to even have a general conversation because we're still using cultural markers of which we're making the conversation. I think that when we are talking about a consistent experience of who actually is getting to the point where people say they want to get to, they want to get married. I think those are the people that we need to try to like use as examples.
Yeah, it's a difference. Yeah.
I just feel like you should use.
But you know why it's so difficult to find those examples? Because they're not prevalent.
Well,
they're not prevalent. They're not around often.
But wait,
that's not what's in the limelight right now.
But hold up. But that's still a perspective.
You're right. But I mean,
that's still a perspective because I think a lot of times, for example, great example, there's this conversation that black athletes don't marry black women.
They don't. I'm sorry.
But that's a perspective. That's a perspective. That's
that outburst.
That's a perspective.
That outburst spirit.
If you were to name, do you follow the NBA?
No.
Okay. Do you know any NBA basketball players?
Yes.
LeBron James.
Can you name 5?
No, I cannot.
Can you name 2?
A poop?
NBA basketball players.
Kareem. Don't get me started.
If you, my point, if you just can you throw out some like 5 NBA basketball?
Magic Johnson, Kareem. I got you.
Watch basketball like that. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Go ahead.
Kareem, Magic Johnson, Kobe.
Yeah, I was about to say Kobe.
I can't put Shaq in there.
Please don't.
I mean,
Shaq,
Michael Jordan, and Did I say Magic?
No, you didn't. Well, yeah, you did at first.
What's that dude? Wade. I forgot his name.
My point's not hitting me because you guys don't really know how to go. I'll use current basketball players. I'll use current ones. If you look at the top 10 salaries in the NBA of married basketball players, only one of them is white. That's Nikola Jokic, and so only one of them is white. Everyone that is married, only one of them is married to a white woman. The other black men, they're all black. So the other 9 of them are black men. They're all the ones that are married. So the other 7 of them.
Can I ask a question though, really quick? The people that you're saying are black, are they biracial blacks, or are they just black?
Like LeBron James.
I'm just asking.
For example, LeBron James, both his parents are black. Like Steph Curry, both his parents are black.
First of all,
Steph Curry's a black man.
Yes, he is a black man, but I'm saying, my point was stemmed from colorism. There's a
He's married
difference.
to a woman that's the same shade as he is.
Right, but my point is that even if he was my color, he would still be married to a woman that shade.
But so now you're like splitting hairs because
Is it splitting hairs though? That's what's in the media. Listen to all the songs you're listening to. I want a light skin, baddie, yellow bone, tatted. Like it's all in the music.
They got different songs.
But again, the reason why I say it's splitting hairs.
You got one with a black girl in it?
Yeah,
a dark skin. Not with the dancer being black. I'm talking about with the lyrics talking about dark skinned women.
My point is
I don't listen to those songs. I don't even know about the light skin songs.
The overall point I'm trying to make.
Go ahead, yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is this: when black men get married, they generally marry black women.
True.
Like, by and large.
True.
And the richer a black man is, richer black men that get married generally marry black women.
I agree with you.
So the perspective that we see in the media is not the reality that most people experience.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but I'm saying people, because of how bad colorism is, you could be like look at Ashley. Ashley is a black man.
Yeah.
Look at Ashley. Put the camera on Ashley. Put the camera on Ashley.
Look at
Ashley. Now look at my hand. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like the point is that people will give a cutoff line. And I'm saying this, and I'm not just speaking just to be like, oh, this is what I see on media. This is what I experience on a day-to-day. I stood next to my best friend who's Ashley's color, and she's a black girl, but she swears she's my color. But my point is we stood by each other in the club. The dude was staring at her the whole night, and he said, I mean, you pretty, but you just too dark. Like, said it out of his mouth.
I would tell you.
You too pretty, but you just too dark.
That's because you are dark skinned. I'm light skinned, and I get the same thing. I'm too light. I'm a black woman.
Right.
But I don't. You think folks finna take me serious? Exactly. That's what I get.
But that's my point. Like,
I get made fun of all the time.
But look, let me say this. I do agree that like that's something that goes on. I mean, I've heard my friends say, no, my girl got to be lighter. I'm like, what if she look good? I don't think like they think. I'm just like, if she look, I've seen dark women. Now, I will say, like, when I was in school, I didn't have a preference for white girls, right? White women.
Yeah,
there's a difference
between
dark and stereotypes, though, and I can get into that after you're done talking. But I think I want to hear his point on it too.
You're right. So it was like I didn't have, but now the more people I've seen, because I'm in school, so I'm like, I probably just didn't see, any white women like attractive to me because of that small little area. I was a kid, so now I got older, and I'm like, oh. There are every race to me. If I find the right person, they're attractive to me.
He switched up the Mexican. All the girl. I don't think I've ever seen you date anybody different
Than a Mexican?
Hispanic.
Spanish?
I feel like the first girl.
Well, they like me. You know
I feel like all the girls.
Okay, got the sign.
No, my first girlfriend was black. Remember?
She.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Then the second one was black. Then the third one was I can count on.
Here's the thing, though. I don't have a problem with people wanting to date outside their race. Hear me? Because I don't want to come off as the person that's like, oh, I'm that black girl that's like
Umar Johnson.
I don't want to come off as that girl that's like the girl that's always like, black men don't like me because I'm dark skinned. I'm a dark skinned warrior, and I'm gonna, I'm not trying to say none of that. You can have a preference, but most of the time, and tell me if I'm wrong, but most of the times, people say their preference is coupled with some type of stereotype. Oh yeah, I don't like black girls because I only like white girls because black girls do. And it's already invalid. Why keep the black girl out of it? Keep the black girl out of it. I like white girls because I prefer white girls. Don't put us in it. You know what I'm saying? I like white girls because black girls too loud. Or I like white girls because they freaker and black girls not willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's always a but, and I'm not dealing with the buts. Just have your preference and be quiet.
I agree.
I feel you.
I do agree with you that, because like I said, like I've had friends that have said stuff like that, and it didn't make any sense to me. Because I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, like, I don't care if, him think my girl look good. It's up to me. Or if I've had an experience with this person, I'm asking you, how's your relationship with your dad? And that's not even like a straight question. Like there can be exceptions to the rule, but I'm going to ask you and see what you say. You know, because if you say, "Oh, I hate my dad, he's stupid," like,
No.
now I gotta proceed with caution now.
Oh, it's a no for me, dog.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but the thing is, like, if her dad is like a real messed up dude, you know.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I like to
But most
So,
time,
yeah.
most likely,
So we
yes,
have to
you're
ask,
right.
like, we have to ask like another question.
Yeah, a
like that.
follow up
But
question.
most
Yeah.
likely,
but if it's just like
you're
I
right.
ran away from home because he had rules, like.
Oh yeah, then yeah.
Exactly.
That's
But
that's
most
how it is.
likely, who's gonna just
Like,
you
Come
know,
out
the
and copy
dad's
that,
gonna
yeah.
be the most terrible person, and
Yeah, most people-
you know,
yeah.
he's probably not gonna be there, and you're not gonna know him if you
right.
know.
If he's that bad a dude, he probably. Wasn't,
But yeah, so but I will agree with you. I
Remember that
have
girl, her
heard.
wig fell off.
That's what I was about to say this whole time, Whitley. Losing your hat.
I was like,
Hey,
It's like, I knew this show was gonna go viral. But all that's real, so you ain't gotta worry about that.
Right. But you know, this get me in trouble too. I was just about to say, like, what's your experience with you being, you know, locked up and dating and stuff?
You talking about?
No, like locked up. I don't call them dreadlocks.
I know, but they gonna jail.
Okay, I'm sorry.
minute, how-
What I mean is
tell me
like
you were a
like
convict?
locked up, as in like with
where did
locks in your hair. People think that because I love the color gold and gold is my accessory, I'm Caribbean, so I don't look American,
Hey, you
and
know
so
what I
it's like
mean?
right, but it's like I stay dripped down in gold, but people think I'm some I consider myself some fairy or something, and because I'm locked up, all of a sudden they think that I walk around with like somebody came to me and was like, my woke sister, you want some of these? And he was trying to sell me a crystal, and I was like, why would you not want it? He was like, you're aesthetic, and I said, what aesthetic? I'm repping Jesus. I just got locks in my head. Like, where did you get that from? But like the stuff that comes with my hairstyle gets me pulled in directions that's not necessarily something that I go with, because I want to put a seashell in my hair. All of a sudden, I'm a gypsy, huh? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, because if anybody else did it, you know, you put the gold stuff around braids and nobody thinks twice about it. But let me do it, put a feather in my hair, a little seashell in my hair, and I'm burning sage in my house. And that's me through and through.
Yeah.
Can't tell me any
There's
otherwise.
a lot of stereotyping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's
They
honestly
say light skins are too
Soft.
hold on. Like,
for real though.
I'm ahead of mine. You feel me?
Like we
Hold down for
Yeah, you see the way? Hold on, let's put the camera on me.
Yo,
See the way he said
hit
that?
him to the front.
Soft.
Soft? Is that what you meant? Soft for 500.
nah.
But they do say that. Pretty
Yeah.
boys can't get their hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
I
what they
mean,
say.
And
No.
I gotta clean up for the podcast. I ain't got no manicure
Nah, but
yet.
as Christians, as Christians, we know better.
Yeah, we do.
We do better? No.
No.
And see, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to admit, as bad as it is, and we know that we shouldn't, and we fight with it, we do have some type of prejudice.
Of course.
I can agree with you on the.
Ain't got nothing.
I'm mixed.
feel me?
You know, my mom is with a
Darling
black man,
Meredith,
and she good. But then
yeah.
anybody else, you know, when I see white girls and all they can do is date black men and stuff.
Oh no, I'm outspoken with that. What's the deal?
It kind of makes me like I'm
That's
like,
probably
It's the
fetish
same with them
I
white
don't
girls that wear
really-
tights after getting one compliment from a black dude saying she was thick, and now you want to wear tights for the rest of your life.
and yeah, and it's like, should we be like,
said I was
you know,
thick,
should we be looking at color? Like, you should be able to date, you know, who you want to. And I'm like, I'm the last person that can say anything, but I feel some type of way, and I was like, okay, God, you know,
yeah.
So let's,
it ain't my business.
Yeah, we gotta
let's
reel it
get
back
into
in.
these- when it comes to dating, you know, they say, well, go to the Bible. Well, you gotta be careful how you go to the Bible, because
Facts.
there's a lot of bad examples of dating that we should not do.
right.
You got a man who had to work 7 years to get his wife he wanted. He ended up, he didn't read the fine
He
print.
ended up sinning.
He didn't read the fine print, so he ended up getting he had to get the firstborn wife. That was a part of the law. So he had to work another 7 years to get the one he wanted. Another guy bought a real estate property, Boaz, and he got the wife as part of the deal. Another dude went to war and killed 150 people and had to cut certain body parts that we're not gonna talk about, and he got a wife from that. And then one guy was a king and made a peace treaty with every country and got a wife from every country he made a peace treaty with. So when we go to the Bible, not to say like, oh, we can't go to the Bible on dating, but like Brittany said in the beginning, you have to use discernment. The Bible uses these words. When you look up Proverbs 31, when the Bible says a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. He doesn't say a man that finds a woman to fill the shoes of a wife finds a good thing.
Man.
You have to have that wife mentality, like a husband. Like, it's not about the amount of money. It's about the ambition, and are you willing to get it? Are you willing to lay down your life for your wife? So you have to have that mentality. When you're at the gas station and somebody pull up with a gun, you got to have that mindset. I got to be ready to die just in case. You know what I'm saying? Somebody sneak in the house, or you hear a noise and you're in the bed, like, you got to get up and be like, I got to be ready to die just in case. You know what I'm saying? A man has to have the ability to go there if need be. So when you read these things in the Bible, like, every dating experience, I would say, is going to be different, but the general rules still apply. But you have to work this out with God. Like, some of this stuff you can't read every single book before you get into a relationship and become a fairy, before you get married. Drop the bars, bro. You feel me? Not even
Right.
To look to the side at you like you.
I'm listening. I'm focused.
No. Like he was like, you respect the bars.
When it comes to the Bible is our guide to dating. And I'm going to say it is the best dating book because of this reason. The Bible is for you to become whole with God. It teaches you how to become whole with God. It changes you. If you allow the Bible to change you, and that person that you date did the same thing, then when y'all come together, y'all will have less issues. And if you do have an issue, you will know how to work that out. It shouldn't have to tell you, even though it said for men to love your wives, you know, but it doesn't have to tell you you're not a baby,
right?
You know, and it tells you how to be a good person, you by yourself. When you come with nobody, you're not gonna have any issues. So all that.
You said something in Japanese.
Yes.
What Tashi
Like it's just common sense. Like,
no subtitles,
let it build you.
Hey guys, if you've enjoyed the conversation so far, please give us a like. If this has helped you out, it really helps the video get out to as many people as possible. And also subscribe and click the bell notification to get notified every time we go live. We go live every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you'll be blessed. And if you donate to, if you hit the, what's the thing called? If you do a super chat, you'll be saved. No, just playing.
You don't know nothing about
start
that.
our prayer line. Yeah. And
you don't know
Brother
nothing about
Ashley
that.
is, really praying, but keeping us saturated with prayer. So, standards. Our standards, like, what when it comes to standards, some people's standards are too high and some people's standards are too low. So how do we find balance in creating the standards for our potential person, husband, wife?
How do you find balance?
Heterosexually. Huh? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So you said, how do you find balance in your
standards? Balance in your standards, yeah.
I think part of it is your community will help you with that, because you're
like church community, or what you mean?
Not necessarily church community
general.
I mean, I think healthy church community is a great first place, but like for me, like I have like a core group of homies that like they know about any woman I've been interested in, and so they, as I communicate or engage with these women, they know the things that are most important to me from like my standards perspective. They also have jokes about like, oh, Caleb really like these type of girls, or Caleb really don't like these type of girls. And
see, that's that stuff she was talking about. You
what?
Get rid of that.
What?
I'm just playing.
Well, I mean, I can get into the whole color.
It's different personalities. And different things. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and so, but they know at the end of the day, they know some things that are like really important to me.
Right.
And they know things that like, well, they know what's really important to me. They don't really know what like I'll just be able to deal with, but they know what's really important to me. Yeah. And so, because I respect their lives and how they've engaged dating. Now, most of the men that are in my life that I talk to all the time are married. Like they're my age and they're married. So I think that I've been able to, and I think that they have healthy marriages. Like, and I appreciate being able to see like these 2-3 year old marriages, but then also I've been able to grow up in my house where my parents have been married for 33 years. So I have the juxtaposition of these different types of marriages I've been able to engage and really be able to understand. And so I bump my my standards against all of that, and then it kind of comes to with my own personality and how I engage the world around me.
Personally, for me, I think
Yes.
I'm late.
Before
My
you
bad.
even said
What
anything. Oh, I thought you were early.
No,
I was like,
I
at
was about
least
to
let
say
her-
that. I didn't.
At least let Ryan and us.
no, go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I'm late on these sound effects. So when he said 2-3 year marriages, I was trying to turn on me and hit that.
Okay.
I'm late. I'm late
I
2-3
thought
years.
it was like, let me say
But
something. I was like, she didn't say it yet.
It was-
Had to
I was like, period. I get a little intro jingle, you know.
Ryan about to speak.
Right.
Everybody shut up. Ryan talking.
It's my first day on the board.
It's okay. It's okay.
She's like, what'd I say?
Personally, for me, my standards are derived by, I really just kind of look at how things are, like, again, it has to deal with you as a person, what you know you'll tolerate and what you don't tolerate. And I think circumstances of how you were brought up, things about, how you were brought up, how you were raised, the things that are affecting you environmentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of those things kind of take into account of how your standards are molded. Because, one girl might be able to deal with, a dude who's hyper aggressive. And then there might be another girl who can't deal with that at all because of things. So everything is kind of situational. But personally for me, alongside with, God's standards, because I truly feel like if you really just take God into the fullest of like how you're supposed to, it's like I cringe hearing secular music, like truly. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really like, and it was bad because I'm talking about, and I'm not finna sit here and act like I'm holier than thou. I used to be Megan Thee Stallion down, top of the car, pull over. You know what I'm saying? Like we used to get it in, but like now, now that I've kind of done, like my 180, like
You hate
like
what you once loved.
like no, but for real though, like I'm listening to the lyrics, I'm like literally, I'm like like you said that on the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like goodness gracious, like some of the stuff is so hard. So it's like when you really take God in and let Him like give you a heart transplant, really change you for real, and really start to get into your DNA and stuff. There's things that'll be standards that you didn't even know were standards. That'll just be like, and like you'll learn that as you learn the new you through God. And so it's like there's things that people will say, and I'm just like, that didn't really sit with me well. Sit with that, kind of investigate what that was. What did that stem from? That might be a standard. That might be, just a ick or something that you might have. But my point is that standards built through that way, you get more concrete standards that aren't going to move anywhere because they're built on a foundation that's not going to go anywhere. I mean, you are who you are at the core of you, but who you are at the core of you was also given to you by God. So if you tap in with Him, then tap in with your environment and your surroundings, you'll kind of get a list of some concrete boundaries that aren't able to be shifted by average man.
You'll start to hate those things.
You'll start to hate those things that the one that you once loved. Like I used to want to always be outside. I used to want to always drink. I'm talking about I couldn't have a meal without it having a drink with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to smoke. I'm talking about I used to smoke a lot. It was to the point where my parents just kind of shrugged their shoulder like, it is what it is. I'm talking about, thank God my lips going back pink. Hallelujah.
I was going to say, it don't even look like
hello. We out here doing turmeric scrubs. I'm changing my life for real. But I'm like, I stopped last December, like last year. And like I haven't gone back, but like it's been like full stop. Like no hookah, nothing like that. It's just because it's something that now like I physically get sick even like thinking about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's to a point where I'm just like, ugh. Like I can't really like, and it's not like I'm not hanging around people that do that, but it's to the point where I have such a discipline in me now. I could be around folks that used to do stuff that I used to do. And it's just such a big turnoff to me. I literally am just like, yeah, just let me know when y'all are done. Like I don't even have the urge to do it with them, let alone have the urge to really hang out with them like that anymore because it's just they doing stuff I don't really, do. So I feel like that's kind of where my standards come from. It's just, things that I know I no longer tolerate. You know what I'm saying? So that's personally how I use the guidelines of things.
Did you grow up in church?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like heavy in the church. Like my mom grew up Pentecostal. And so with
you one of us,
right? Yeah. So it's like with them influences. But like she kind of got away from it though, and kind of raised us up, kind of non-denominational Christian. But every time we went over to my nana's house, we couldn't step through her doors without long sleeves and a skirt to our ankles because she wasn't playing that. So, but eventually, as we got older, she kind of got a little more lenient with it. And, she let us where we want because she know they going to do what they want to do. But, I mean, she's been wearing jean skirts to the ankles since I've known her. Like, I've always seen her hair rolled up. That's just, so I've always grew up knowing God. But the difference is that I didn't know God. I didn't know God for myself. I just knew what everybody else was telling me about him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a relationship with this man. So it was like, I'm hearing God doing this, God doing this. I always ask myself, like, y'all saying God taught you, why don't I hear him? You know what I'm saying? But it's like I had to learn that God speaks in many facets. So one person might hear a whisper in the voice. One person might get stuff while they're painting. Another person might get dreams. He communicates in a way that he knows you'll be able to receive it. So once I started tapping into ways that I knew I was able to receive stuff, I was able to hear things more clearly and know, okay, that's 100% God's voice. And so that's when that discernment, you strengthen that up, you really can't have nobody shake your boundaries. Because I know that was also a question, like, how do you, like what are some, like, I don't allow people to move my boundaries, and I used to all the time. Like,
what made you, like, when you said you stopped like in December?
Yeah.
Like, what was that made you like, okay, you know what?
I got arrested. Just straight up, I got arrested. And
How long was you in there?
I was in there for 3 days, and I was shook.
That didn't change me none.
I was in Wright Street. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll probably have a one-on-one
what street you was
dig
on?
more into that.
Huh?
We'll probably have a one-on-one and dig more.
Yeah, but I mean that's just the blank thing. Like, I mean, it was for some petty, but the point is that it happened, and I was like, yo, like, this is actually like real life. Like, I'm really a human being out here that can really have my whole life taken from me because I have stuff going for me. I have my own business. I have real connections. I have family that actually care about me. And I'm out here living willy-nilly like I'm some girl off the side of the street trying to make $1. Like, I actually have things that are tying me to this world that are respectable, and I need to start respecting those more. So once I had that wake-up moment, I was like, oh yeah, I got to get it together because I'll be doggone if I have to go back there. So that's kind of what made me do my 360. Smoking, done. The friends I was hanging out with, done. I cut everybody off and I isolated myself for months. I was at the darkest place of my life. I was depressed. I was down bad. And I said, I need to go to therapy. But it took me a long time to get there because there's a lot of trauma, especially in black households, in Christianity and just religion in general. It's, oh, just pray it away. Nobody tells you to go to therapy. It's just, oh, just pray it off. You'll be fine. Just pray, ask God about it. So it's like it took me a while to come to therapy because therapy was used as a weapon for me. You need help. You need to go talk to somebody. So I don't want to talk to nobody with a notepad sitting here judging me. So it took me a while to get comfortable with the idea of therapy. So now at 24, I'm finally going through the motions of going to therapy, reading the help books, and doing things I need to do to really do it and get in a real relationship with God that's more meaningful than just hearing other people's testimonies. Like, I actually have one. So
that's the best single advice that you could give, like, any people that are single, especially like what you just explained and what brought you in and things that you were going through. A lot of married people too, but single people going through that, I feel like they really need to hear that because that's when you can become whole with God before you can, even think about dating. And what you just described and what you said, I did this and I went to therapy and I, it was crazy and I didn't want nobody to be writing a notepad, but you know what, I was like, I got to do what's best for me.
Right.
When you can say stuff like that, that's when you're ready to, okay, now I'm ready today. Like, once you go through that.
I was also going to say, like, what you said about, like, even married people when they are in a relationship and they're married and their marriage isn't really going well. It's like, well, y'all might have to go back to, like, I mean, y'all are married, and if y'all don't want to get a divorce, y'all might have to go back and fix y'all's single selves. You know what I'm saying?
The thing about that when you're married is, yes, God can do that. But see, God can only do what you allow him to do. Yeah. And so many people you can be in the church, but still not be equally yoked. And you can be on the church, but you could be someone as, oh, I'm checking a box. I came Sunday and I came Wednesday, but the church is not a building. The church is in you.
Correct.
So you could still go to the building, but still not really be in church. And then you've gotten married because I'm checking all the boxes and now I'm finna be in a relationship. But then you start having all of these problems and, oh, I don't know where they came from. And then you've gotten married and now they're having all these problems. So then now you want to come to God, or you want to do what some people do is, I want me a real man, thug.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that other word. So you want you a thug, and then you go get someone outside of the church and you say, I'm gonna bring you in
instead of the man that's working on the N-word.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring him in because he looks good to me, and I'm gonna get him saved. I'm gonna go ahead and marry him, and then I'm gonna go repent to God after I get married, and then ask God to save him. And now you're having all of these. I almost did this. You're having all these issues, and it's going to be a lot harder because the same process that God, like what he took you through, what you just described, and the same process we have to go through because we have, when we build up, we have our own foundation and we build up on that foundation. And then we come to God and we say, hey, can you fix this? And God is like, it's like a house. If the foundation is rocky, I can't really add on to the house because it's going to fall. But what I can do is, if you'll give it to me and allow me to tear that house down that you built, let me repair that foundation, and then we can build a bigger, beautiful house that will not fall. And it's like, God, I gave this relationship 7 years of my life. I can't just let it go. Okay, well, are you willing to give it another 7 years? Or do you like what you're going through? And so when you're married, you got to still do this same process. And then they got to do this same process. And then a lot of times you see, ain't nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with you. So now the woman is in church or the man is in church and the other one is like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
Kusa GT.
And who?
He said evangelical dating ends in tears all the time. Heard more than a few stories.
Yeah, but you still have to, married or not, you still have to allow God to tear you down.
Yep.
And it's going to be a lot harder to tear you down when you're married and to tear that other person down because he's got two people to work on. And so
what scares me the most about the way that the world is going right now, and as far as like, all of the new boxes that are coming up with this LGBTQ plus AI or all those things.
AI.
I don't know. Like there's so many. There's so many. But there's so many. And like, and please correct me. Like, and I'm not even trying to be offensive, but I mean, I'm just like, there's he, she, there's they, them, there's Hershey, there's Snickers, Twickers, and all them other ones. Twickers and Twinkies. You know what I'm saying? But like the point is that there's so many boxes, and like I'm saying this not to be funny, but it's because as somebody who's gone through thinking like, oh well, maybe because guys think my voice is too deep and I'm too masculine for them, when really it was just I'm too intimidating for the average man because I stand on principles in my business and I don't move, and so that shakes most people. But I thought, okay, well, maybe I'm supposed to be with women. So it's like when you go through that whole mindset, what scares me is how many boxes there are to go through, because I only at that moment knew about one. So it was like, okay, well, it's women or men. So I tried the women, it didn't work. And I was like, okay, God help me. And then I went and I repented. But there's so many other avenues. People have all these boxes they can go through before they have to finally go back to God. Because you always end up getting brought back to where you have to eventually come back and meet your maker and be like, look, we either going to get it together or you're going to run again. And I'll watch you do the lap. And then when you get back to me, we're going to have the same conversation. You ready to do it? Or you going to run again? And so it's like, but the amount of times they can run now with all the stuff they can go through, I can be an alien now. I can say I'm a white woman and you can't battle me on it.
That's the scripture. What you're saying is like, there's a scripture that says to be equally yoked. And we think to be equally yoked means to you be in church and I be in church and then it's a done deal. But equally yoked is, so back then the bull had to be yoked up. And it's not an egg yolk. It's a yolk, like a...
Oh, you taught me something. I sure did think you was talking about eggs.
Around the neck. And so...
How you spell... is it spelled the same way?
Is it spelled the same way?
Yeah, so... Okay. And so when this bull is walking with this younger whatever, they're plowing the field.
I've seen that, like around their neck, like they're together. Okay.
And so God is the bull, and you're yoked up. And so if y'all are not equal, if you put a smaller one that's not on that level, then it's going to be dragged. Or if that bull is not moving and you try to go ahead, you're going to hang yourself.
Right.
So you got to be, God is going to stand here until you can do all of this and you can, go wherever you want to go. But until you're ready to do what God says, to be equally yoked.
Are you sure
there is spelled different. Yoke is Y-O-L-K. Yoke, what they're talking about is Y-O-K-E.
That's what the Bible says, Y-O-K-E.
Oh, okay. So then, no, it's different.
Yeah. But we can go ahead and
Wait, the yoke around your neck is what?
YOKE.
the way the Bible says.
Yeah. So it's not talking about egg yolk.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, God.
So I
He
want
just threw me off.
everybody. We can go ahead and hey, are you all Christians? Yes, we are all followers of Jesus Christ. We are Christians.
Hallelujah.
By definition, not just by
Right.
traditional titles either. So everybody wanna you felt the Holy Ghost? You wanna speak in tongues? Just let it out. So let's go ahead and give our final thoughts, guys. We start with you said some stuff. I don't know if you wanted to say something. Caleb, you wanna?
Me, I go first.
Yeah. Well, you go first, so he knows like.
Oh, okay. I had to find myself.
So you know the rundown. You know what I mean?
But no, it's hard for me to have like because once you're like, I remember what it was like being single, but I can't feel the emotions that I remember crying. I was lonely and I did some stupid stuff, but I can't remember the emotions. So it's so hard to relate to what you actually feel being single to be, when I go home, I gotta go get in my bed by myself. And the advice that I would give is to like be content with what God has already given you. If you and hold on to God, I promise you, it's so many fish in the sea. You do not settle. Do not listen to that clock. The clock is a devil because guess what? He doesn't exist in time. And I was in a bad relationship for 7 years. And because I invested 7 years, I was not ready to I was just going to deal with it. And I'm being, he's having kids with other women. My son and his son is 2 days apart. I'm being abused. It's psychotic. Like, he's going to be demons out of me. Da, 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 da. Like, I'm going through some crazy stuff. And I'm still like, okay, this is what I got. So this is what I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. And it was so hard to let that go because the worst was I'm going to be lonely and I'm going to have nothing. I'd rather have this chaos than to not have anything. But letting that go and just allowing God to just heal me and fix me being single, I got something that I can't, amazing is not even the word for what I got. And I promise you, God has that for everybody. You could be 50 and find it. And when God says he'll restore the years that you lost,
man,
I promise you, being 50 and getting married is a lot better than marrying somebody in your 20s and dealing with just chaos for 20 something years. Like, God has a job for you. He has a purpose. We're not here to pleasure our flesh. We are here to serve the kingdom. We are here to deliver people to God. And it might not be his purpose for us to be in a relationship. And God wants to see, are you okay with that? Are you okay with my purpose and my vision? Yes, I know that you want God, I want marriage, but you're more important. So it's there. It's not going anywhere. I still feel it. But my focus is on you. So I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to smile. So that would be my advice, is to let go of your desires. And just because, you're in church, people feel like, oh, because I'm in church, then whatever I feel like I desire is God's desires. And it still might be the case because I'm in church and my desire is to win the lottery and that ain't happened yet. So it's not always God's desire just because you're in church. And so I want this, but I'm going to set this here. And I'm going to be happy with what you've already given me. And I'm going to wake up every day with a smile. What does John say?
What? Who?
John, wake up every day with a smile.
Oh, yeah. I wake up every day with a smile. You're entitled to one mistake. What I don't say. Let me just say something. Something is the tools of the incompetence of. I don't know. He got his praise. I don't know. It's just somebody we know. So, Caleb.
Yeah, so
DJ keeping the streets clean. DJ Soap.
Yeah, my music
All
is
their
clean.
y'all
God is king, representing on the scene.
Okay.
So what I would say is my encouragement to people would be to be yourself in all places, amongst all people, and all experiences. So that way you are comfortable with how those experiences play out because you were yourself. And when you get married, you're going to be yourself in all those experiences. I encourage people to when it comes to what you're looking for in a person is that you're going to have a lot more experiences where you're doing things like folding laundry and sitting at a table more than the being on a mountain or at a beach for Instagram. And so I think when you can find the person that you would enjoy just the moments that may seem mundane, those are the people that's probably the person you really appreciate being with. And and to find people, go where your passions are. Like the things that you like doing, the places you like being, like naturally there's probably going to be people there, and people that appreciate similar things as you. Yeah. And even for introverted people, because I'm an introvert, like even for introverted people, like you only gotta take one shot. The one shot you gotta take, and you can at the very least say hello, and then go from there. I think that people are so they struggle to find people. They struggle to find connections, but a lot of the connections and people that they would find really just lie with where their passions are. If you like music, there's certain bands that play or artists that play. Find out where they play. Oh, there's a whole crew of people that like their music too. Or maybe you're somebody that that likes podcasting. There's events at podcasting, or
where they at?
Or you can connect people that are on other podcasts and those types of things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to like and do the things that you do per se, but you'll start to build more or less a network of individuals that you can engage with. And the last thing that I'll say is that I think that we can trivialize this whole like dating and not really showing or understanding what, trying to figure out what a person's about. When you do the experience of being in these places that you like to be, we talk about being at church. There are plenty of women that I have found interesting that I wanted to try to talk to, but I never shot my shot. I just was around. I was just around. I was at the things. I was at the functions. I was at the gatherings. I was all at the things. I was like, oh, I'm going to talk to her. And then I'm talking to her there. And it's it's just an innocuous conversation, but it's the same type of conversation you'd have on a date. And so maybe I'm not saying, do you want to have kids? But I'm hearing conversations about family and relationships.
Whoa, brother.
And I'm hearing conversations I'm hearing all these conversations that maybe a woman in particular I'm interested in. I'm hearing these things she's talking about. And I was like, oh, I'm not interested. So now I never actually went up and shot my shot, but I got the information that I was looking to get without actually having to pursue and all those different things. So then when I'm
holler at a girl.
Yeah, I don't do the holler at people.
Yeah,
I do the hello, my name is Caleb. What's your name? That's me. I'm that guy. Or if I've already got to know them, I really enjoy getting to know you, and hanging out and all this stuff like that. How do you feel? Because I've already understood things about her, so I know things that she'd appreciate. So maybe she just says she likes ice cream. I'm not a big ice cream person, but hey, you want to go get ice cream such and such a day? And that's how I'll begin to naturally lead into that. So that's what I have to say for the people.
Give some good tips, brother.
What I do.
Yeah.
Have to write that stuff down.
Right. I would say, for me, personally, I think people just need to slow down. Because I think the time clock thing is of the devil. It's got us hemmed up.
If I could get that
that time clock is of the devil, and it's got us on social media doing crazy things for social media, crazy thing for marriage, crazy things for, well, my friend got married at 21, so I need to get married now. So it's you settle, and it's like, I said this since I was 15, and I mean it to my core. I said, if I don't meet my husband till I'm 45, then I don't meet my husband till I'm 45. But I'm not settling for some average dude that's going to piss me off in the end, and I have to get a divorce, and then I got to tell my family, yeah, psych, wedding 2 is coming, I don't know when. I'm not doing that. So it's just slow down, and also use the brain and the common sense that God gave you. I know common sense is not common, but I wish it was. But it's if you slowed down and really just took time to watch people and human behavior and the way that people just interact with themselves when they feel like nobody's watching, you would get a lot of red flags out of the way, because a lot of these red flags were red boulders and you just skipped over it because you didn't want to pay attention to it. It's not a little flag flag on the plate. No, boulder on the field. It's in the way and you just ignored it. It's slow down. Pay attention to what people say. Believe them the first time. And ground yourself in God, because you have no choice but to get the life God was destined for you if you do what you need to be doing. Ground yourself in that. Get comfortable being single. You don't have to jump from one relationship to the next relationship because you just have to be with somebody. Like, log off of social media, shut down. Because, like, if it's like, who are you without your phone? Who are you without social media? Who are you without your significant other or your crush or the dude that you like? Like, like you said earlier, you ask girls questions about what they're doing for the day and they can't even answer half the time. Like, who are you? What is the core of you? Get to love yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Just enjoy life, because most times people find their partner just doing nothing. They're not searching for anything. They just bumped into them. That's 90% of the situation of the time. I've met them on Hinge or I met them on this app. That's cool. That's like the 6%. The average person ran into them. And again, it's valid. But I'm saying, like, the average person is just meeting these people, just doing life for real, and you just happen to stumble across. Excuse me, are you guys a couple? Can I ask you about the time that you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes are walking around just asking random people, and most of their answers are, oh, well, I was just hanging out with my friends, or I was doing this. So it's like, live life, enjoy life, slow down. We rush to be an adult. Now we pissed because we got to pay stuff. Slow down. Like, don't rush to get into a relationship that's going to end up hemming you up for years and years. And like she said, you're going to feel obligated to stay. Slow down. Enjoy what God's put in front of you. And just live your life and let what comes. And if it takes too long, it's not your timing. You're on God's time, not worldly time, not anybody else's time. So slow down and stop trying to drive the wheel. It's not for you to drive. Just sit in the passenger seat and chill.
What's that song? Jesus, take the
Jesus, take the wheel. For real. Like, let them have it.
From my hand.
That was crazy.
So this is a great conversation. We have all their links in the description for the gram. You know what I'm saying? You can follow everybody.
Put TikTok on there.
TikTok. Stay tuned for the conspiracies.
You got the conspiracies on Nickelodeon and all these other shows. They really getting a lot of traction. So people are really taking her stories for truth. So so I would say, hey, focus on the form instead of trying to focus on lifting as much weight as you can. Or lifting the weight as fast as you can.
That's good. Like,
focus on your form. Oh, Agent Wilson.
Okay.
Great episode. Back, Ashley. Yeah. I took a sabbatical, so I'm back. I appreciate. Oh, hit the horns for it.
Appreciate the love.
Hit the horns for it. Yeah. Right at the tail end of it. Amen. Glory to God.
That's the second one. Oh no, that's the first.
No, it's just at the top. They're showing all them. Yeah. So definitely, man. But like everybody has said, you know, the clock. That need to be a whole topic of discussion.
Really.
Like.
It don't exist.
When it comes to that clock, I'm telling you, it's like you will do way better in a race if you're like focused on the effort that you need to give, the form that you need to have. How am I growing stronger by running? As soon as somebody lets you know, oh, the finish line's over there, you could have ran way farther. You could have been a way better person, but your thought process was, I need to hurry up and get to the finish line. No. You need to run the race with everything in you that you may obtain the prize.
And what's the prize? It's not family, kids, a house with a picket fence. You got to focus on what it actually is the prize, and that's God.
Yeah.
To get
exactly. Because people focus on relationships and they think, oh, this is what God did for me. It's like, no. He did this relationship for him.
Yes.
So
man.
That's the piece that y'all,
Man, like, hello?
Yeah, we in here. Ain't none of us in a relationship, but we know some stuff.
But wait.
So,
no, she said, not me.
well, Brittany knows, so she was, checking to make sure we right.
But wait, I didn't get married until I was 30, and we had 2 babies after that, and that was like crazy. So
yeah, God gonna do what he do.
Take the clock out, cause
you can rush it, and you can.
I thought my time for having kids and stuff was over.
Is not over.
You can just take your time to get yourself right, and it will work a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So God bless y'all. There's a lot of stuff we need to get into on this Christian singles topic.
Yeah, man. Like
do a part 2 or something.
Part 2.
But yeah, so like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification, get notified every time we go live. Go live every Friday. Won't be going live next Friday. I'll be out, but we coming back.
You going on sabbatical, I guess.
Going on another
little short sabbatical.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we definitely are gonna keep this going. God bless you guys. Have a blessed night. We out of here.